Greetings, gravel grinders. Welcome to Spinistry Chat. This is Kevin Lee with Spinistry. Gonna try to make this one as quick as I possibly can. This is an overview for this weekend's Missing Mid-South, our routes overview, and a mini virtual writers meeting as well, just to go over some of the facility details for camping and staging and things like that. Again, we will make this as quick as possible. A couple of very, very important notes on the front end. I'm recording this Thursday night. Just got back from marking a good bit of the course and also just got back from restructuring a good bit of the course. Found a new little loop I just definitely wanted to include, and it added a little bit of mileage, so I needed to do a little bit of adjustment on the other further into the route to not saturate the mileage. That said, most of the routes are a tad longer than originally, but I think the payoff is worth it. So that said, if you've already downloaded the routes, all the routes have been updated. Delete what you have, download the newest version. What's here should be final, with potentially the exception of the shortest 27-mile route, and I'll explain that when we go over the details on that one. Another important thing, 100-milers. If you are doing the 100-mile route, you will need to self-navigate on the sections that are different from the 65-ish, 66-ish mile route. 100-milers will have to have self-navigation capability, if that was not crystal clear before. This is an overview of all of the routes combined. The big lavender pink outer loop is the 100-mile loop. This gold cut through here is where the 60, can't remember off the top of my head, we'll see shortly. It's now a 65 or a 66 miler. This is where it bisects that. This green section here is where the 50-something miler bisects. The blue is where the 40-something miler bisects, and this red is where the 27 miler bisects. We're going to start with that 27 miler, but all routes need to watch this part because we're going to talk about the camping check-in and how that works and everything like that, staging area, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go ahead and bring up the 27 miler route. On the others, we will show where the water tables are and any amenities or convenience stores or anything like that along the way. The short route here, the 27 miler, there are no water tables on this route. It's expected that riders should be able to travel 27 miles carrying what they need. But what I'm going to do with this route is I'm going to zoom into the staging area and camping area. We are staging and camping at Loafers Bend Park on Lake Whitney. It's Loafers Bend West. There's also there's a Loafers Bend East over here. I haven't been there yet, so I can't speak to that. But I want to, particularly for those who are camping, you want to see this part. I'm going to go ahead and go to the satellite overview. So you'll come in on Highway 22. Most people, I would think, if you are showing up day of the event, you'll turn in this park road, and there will be a day use sign here. Day use area will be this first road to the left. You'll take that, go almost to where you're seeing the boat ramp and lakeside area, and to the right will be a driveway, and that goes up to our pavilion and parking area here. So this will be our staging area. So day use people, day of the event, that's the way you'll come in, and we'll check in here and send everyone off in their waves. Please show up 15 minutes prior, check in 15 minutes prior to your wave. Basically, when the wave in front of you goes off, we'll open check-in for your wave, give you your number and everything like that. For those of you who plan to camp with us, give a little bit more detail. I'll double check that. I think check-in opens at 3 o'clock on Friday. And so then we have a group camping area that's here in this wooded area for the weekend. And it should accommodate everyone that is planning to camp. Just in case it doesn't, we do have some overflow spots as well. So I'll check in, see how things are going here. And if we need to start routing folks to the overflow area, we will. But to get to the camping area, you'll go all the way to the end of this park road and then hang a left. And there will be a gate area here. I just assume that you say you're checking in for Kevin's group camping area. And you'll go just past the gate, the guard shack, hang a right, and there'll be a dirt driveway that goes off into the woods. And then it takes a loop around here. There's a pavilion, there's picnic tables. There are some water hookups and electrical hookups. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if they work or not. I wouldn't consider this suitable for a very large RV by any stretch of the imagination. It's meant for tent camping is what our intention was. If you were planning to join us for the provided camping and you have an RV of some sort, please touch base with me first before you go in there and hopefully get bound up. Or if you want to check it out before you commit too much. But in this circle here, there's numerous spots with picnic tables and pull-offs and camping areas. And again, the pavilion, water and electric hookups, I'm assuming they're on. I don't know for certain. And right here in this northeast corner, that's the restroom area right there. So very convenient. And also for our staging area, there is a restroom right over here by the lake as well. It's a very short walk over to the restroom. So that applies to all groups, and that applies for Friday night and Saturday night camping. You're welcome to camp both nights. Again, here's the 27-mile route. Put this into map view again. So we'll send out the waves, and the start will apply to everyone the same way. We'll start from the staging area. It's kind of a neutral rollout out of the park. You'll turn right on this FM 22. It is a higher speed road. There's shoulder up until this park entrance, and then it narrows down as it starts to go over the dam. But you'll just have about a quarter of a mile run, and then you'll veer left, and then you're off into the county roads from that point on. So, like I said, definitely less than a half a mile. I think it's right at a quarter of a mile from the park entrance to this turnoff. And it's not a hugely busy road. It is a higher speed road, but it's not hugely busy. So we're going to ask everyone to kind of roll out in your waves, kind of neutral, rolling together, watch traffic. And then once you get off into the county roads, if you're feeling froggy and you want to get racy, that's the time to take off there. The 27-mile route is the same through about mile 14 and a half as all of the other routes. At that point, you'll take a left-hand turn, go into the town of Whitney from mile 15 to about mile 18. And when you get into Whitney and make this turn to the south, then you'll be back on the same route as everyone else for the finish. 27-mile route is marked. We'll look at the 44-mile route now very quickly. And also something I do want to bring up, and we'll do a quick weather snapshot. I would consider all of these routes extremely rain tolerant. The only one that might have an exception would be the 100-miler. We'll go over the specifics of that when we talk about the 100-miler. But all of these other routes, yes, there is some rain in the forecast. It looks like it's being pushed to Saturday night and Sunday for the most part, but something could slip in. I don't think you need to worry about rain on Saturday. I guess it's the short story on that. The 44-mile route at this mile 14 and a half, where the 27-mile route went basically southwest. All the other routes will go northeast at this point. And the 44-mile route is the same as all of the others. And this will be the first water table for all of the stops except the 27 miler. It's about mile 25. So there will be a water table there for the 44-mile route. And up until this point, just at about mile 28 and a half, all the routes share the same route. At this point, the 44-mile route will take a left-hand turn and go again back towards the town of Whitney and then join up with the other routes and finish the same as all the others. We'll look at the 53-miler now. Pretty much the same as the 44-miler, but it goes just a touch further up this road before it takes its own westerly turn. So it has the water table again at mile 25-ish. 53-miler will have another water table at about mile 34. And there's also a Dollar General convenience store about mile 39. And there is a barbecue joint right here on the route. Haven't checked it out yet. There's a real good chance I might check that out tomorrow. It looked promising. I'll just leave it at that. And this will be the same route for the 53, the 60, whatever it is, 65, 66, and the 103-mile route will all finish the same way. For all of those routes, I do want to talk about this. We highly recommend all of them, all of the longer routes. Well, we recommend it for all routes, definitely. GPS navigation as a backup to the course markings, we always highly suggest that. Definitely this section for all of the routes between the farm to market road with the water table and into Whitney. This is a really neat ride through here, basically to that barbecue shack. But it's kind of sort of a lakeside neighborhood thing with twisty, turny roads and higher population density than we normally work with. So there's some weird forks in the road that, maybe the markings don't quite line up with it, but it's also the population density is high enough that maybe people in the neighborhood might take our arrows down or turn them or whatever else. We'll look at them again before events start, but we put them down today through this neighborhood, which is typically a day earlier than we normally do. We try to do it as last minute as possible. Basically, the longer the arrows are up, the higher the likelihood is they are to be messed with. And the higher the population density that the arrows are in, the higher the likelihood as well. That said, we've been really lucky the past year or two, very few arrows being messed with at all. But this is definitely one highly recommend to not plan on just depending on the arrows. GPS navigation backup, pretty darn important, highly suggested for this one. And it's available free of charge. If you don't have a Wahoo or Garmin or a dedicated navigation device, the route maps we provide do provide free access to route navigation on the Ride with GPS app as well. Now we'll go to the 66-mile route. Again, pretty much the same. You have the 25-mile water table. And this was the point. Yeah, this was the point where the 53-miler went left. Basically, the longer, the 66 and the 103 will go right. Kind of wind up through here. This is essentially the longer the routes go on this, the better they are. That said, they're all very good routes. As short routes go, I'm pretty excited about that 27-miler. It's hard to put together a really good short route. Typically, if there's a staging area involved, for example, it means there's a lot more pavement to gravel ratio for the shorter routes because you're usually closer to town or whatever. And usually you have to be farther away from town for the best gravel roads, generally speaking. This one does a really good mix of the short route picking up some really cool roads. It's still going to be a higher proportion of pavement on the shorter routes than the longer routes, but there's some really good stuff in the mix. But that said, once you get to the 66-mile route, like this little northern loop here, that just kind of takes it a little bit next level. There's some really cool stuff in there. People that ride the 66 and 103-mile route are definitely going to have moments to remember from this ride. And along those lines, let's go to the 103-mile route. Oh, I go back to the 66. That same water table, it's a shared water table for the 66 milers. That is at, what mileage is that? 47, mile 47. And again, the Dollar General as well, and the barbecue joint for the 66 miler. The 103 miler. This route is extremely special. If you're wanting a good route, if you're wanting a good adventure, if you're wanting a good story to tell, and you're up to a tough 100-miler, this will be a tough one. You'll want to come out for this. As I'm recording this, we have a few spots left for 8 a.m. Saturday wave. I think we're down to 5 or 6. I know a couple spots have been taken. But anyway, there are, as I'm recording this, there is still room to do this 100-miler on Saturday. There's definitely room to do it on Sunday, but I think weather's definitely going to be a factor on Sunday if the forecast holds. Saturday, it's probably still a good day for it. Same 25-miler water table. It picks up most of that same northern loop as the 66-miler, and then it goes on its own grand adventure of its own. And this is some really cool stuff through here. This little rectangle wrap around here is a fantastic spot. Now this stretch here, basically, probably starting about here, probably about mile 49, but we'll go conservative and say at 48 to 51, that 3-mile stretch right there. If it's a heavy rain, you're likely to come into some mud through there. If it's after a rain, I think a few hours after rain, I think you'll be fine. If it's a light rain, I think you'll be fine. If you're pedaling through this in a heavy rain, there's patches of this that could get muddy. You can most likely walk around them, but the way that works is people just plow through it and they go too far in at the wrong spot. All I'm saying is if you're doing the 100-miler and it does appear to be raining heavily, just be super aware between mile 48 and 51. Outside of that, everything else should be extremely hard pack. But this little loop here, there's a reason we have this tiny little loop, neat little section there. There's a convenience store in Blum. Over here, this is a true adventure section through the Steiner Valley Ranch area. You definitely need GPS navigation to get through there. There'll be another Dollar General store here. And at this point, you'll pick back up with the 66-miler and finish. So 103 milers, 25-mile water table, a 55-mile Dollar General, a 74.5-mile Dollar General, an 84-mile water table, an 89-mile Dollar General, and barbecue joint. So 103 milers, we've got some good amenities for you all along the route. Again, 103 milers, you do need to have self-navigation capability. Your route will not be marked in this northern loop that differs from the 66-miler. Do a quick glance at the weather forecast. So Friday night, low of 63, so it's not going to be very chilly in the morning. Saturday, a high of 79. Cloudy, 20% chance of thunderstorms later in the day. That transitions to Saturday night. Low of 54, a little cooler, but still not bad. A high of 72 on Sunday. But A high chance of storms overnight, Saturday night. Let's see what the details are on that. Showers, possibly thunderstorm after midnight. Chance of precipitation, 80%. And a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms before noon. So my recommendation would be 100 milers. You want to do it on Saturday. Now, if you're feeling spunky, if you're feeling adventurous, if you want to have that mud south feel, definitely come out on Sunday and see if you can get a mud ride in. You're more than welcome to give it a try. Again, that's the 100 milers. Even if it's raining overnight Saturday and some Sunday morning, the rest of the routes should be really good. They'll hold up really well to the rain. So if you're coming out to ride on Sunday and you don't mind pedaling, if it's raining on you, you just don't want your bike all gooped up with peanut butter mud, I think you'll like these routes just fine on Sunday. So that's our quickie overview on that. We'll get this sent out to everybody. We'll get this posted. And I'm going to finish marking the routes tomorrow, Friday, get the camping set up, and we'll send out final notes Friday afternoon or early Friday evening. If you have questions or messages or whatever else, I'm probably going to be tied up most of the day Friday, but I will get to them when I can. Thanks for joining us on this one. We'll see everybody this weekend.